Hey YouTube, it's Political Brown Chick. Some of you may know me from Curl Girl Cat. I do natural curly hair videos, but a lot of you didn't know that I was also very political, very woke, especially during this political climate. It's been bothering me for about a year and a half, since about November of 2016. I haven't felt so violated or discarded since that day more than I do now. I'm 46 years old. I was bused as a child after the Brown versus School Board, so I know it's integration, segregation, and all of that was, and why I was being bused as a child. But it's starting to get real quick. There's a lot of issues going on these days. Social, racial, economic injustices towards brown and black people. I have so many written down that I couldn't possibly go through them in a day. So I'm going to try to sum up. Today's issue is going to be about Antoine Rose Jr. Yes, it's about him and how we can start making a difference so we don't have more Antoine Rose Jr.'s. He's a 17-year-old black man killed by a cop that was just sworn in to his job hours before that. He was just shy of maybe 6 hours on the job. It was Officer Michael Rosefeld. They stopped the car he was a passenger in because they said it met the description of a drive-by committed in a nearby city. This happened in suburban Pittsburgh in the Woodlands, Pennsylvania. As everyone knows, Antoine and another person did flee the car. They didn't put up a resistance. They didn't show as if they were going to assault. They ran. As you well know, the officer he's been charged with criminal homicide. For those who aren't real savvy on law, there could have been a lot more he was charged with. Criminal homicide, I want to say, and I could be wrong because I haven't been in school. I haven't been practicing law. I'm not an attorney, but I am a paralegal, so I know somewhat my way around law. Criminal homicide is, I'm going to say not much more than manslaughter, intentional manslaughter. So bare minimums, just to fill you in on something else. And I'm going to cite, this is the Des Moines Register. Last year on May 1st, a black man was being transported in Iowa. His name was Correa Carminati. And while he was being transported to another facility, he happened to get a hold of an officer's gun, and he shot one of the officers and broke out of the transportation van that was transporting him to the other facility. He was charged with first-degree murder. He was not given bail, and Officer Rosefeld was allowed to get out on homicide for a $250,000 bail. The man I'm telling you about in Iowa, he was being held with no bail. He eventually pleaded down and received a 45-year sentence, but justice is not blind. Don't let them get you with that one. Justice is not blind. It definitely sees color. It sees color for sure. The officer gave 2 different stories. The first one, he said Antoine fled. He was holding something. It was dark. It resembled a weapon. He shot because he thought it was a gun. And after they decided to interview him again, which you know they're going to do, that cop or not, his story was conflicting of the first, when he then said that he admitted that he wasn't sure. He didn't see anything in his hands. So after saying in the first story that he saw something dark in his hand, and that's why he shot, because he thought it was a weapon, the second time he gave the story, he said he didn't see anything in his hand. And like I said, and I just want to give you, I got that information off of npr.org. The 2 conflicting stories. This did happen in Allegheny County, which is a suburb of Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania. Justice is not blind. Do you know, I can't stress this enough. This was the 4th black young man that was killed from the same high school. The same high school. Woodland Hills High School. 4th student of Woodland Hills High School to have been shot and killed. Antoine Rose was just 17 years old, and he was killed by a rookie cop that was sworn in that same night. Like I said, we all know that justice can definitely see. So what do we do about this? I might get emotional during some of these topics, but my nephew was just shot and killed 6 months ago. So it's kind of hard to talk about another young black man being murdered and not get emotional. What we need to do is change how the system works. And how we make change is voting. And I'm going to quote the Independent. President Barack Obama did a Democratic fundraiser last night, and he said, if you're sitting around worried, hurt about what's happening in your community or in your country, you have to get up and do something about it. We shouldn't just sit there and like comments about other people doing something about it. We should be worried about Trump. We should definitely be worried about Trump. This is what everything's about. But it's also about what can we do. To start, we need to get into our communities, especially those of color, brown and black folks, register them to vote. And if they have no way to go do that, we need to take them, because our votes count. Our voices matter. Register them to vote. Vote yourself. Get involved with grassroots movements. Progressive grassroots movements. MoveOn.org I'm involved with, and I don't miss a rally. And I'm not just a racial, I just don't act, my activism isn't just for race. It's for women, it's for black women, it's for black men, it's for Hispanic families that are being ripped apart, to show others not to come to our country. That's not our country. We were founded on the backs of immigrants. This is not their country. This country belongs to the indigenous people. And unless you're indigenous, you can't claim that status. You have to start talking to people. When you hear people saying things about what's going on, but you know they're not doing anything, engage them. Engage them. Engage them in how you can get them involved. Like I said, I'm involved with MoveOn.org, the Nebraska Democratic Coalition. I also do a lot of volunteer work for very progressive grassroots candidates that are winning because they're fighting back. You don't have to be physical to fight back. You don't have to be vulgar to fight back, but you have to be active to fight back. Statistically, our black and brown people can be charged for the same crime as a white person, but have their sentence 4 to 5 times higher than the white person that is charged for that same offense. So if the white guy gets charged with a drug crime that carries 2 years and that's what he gets, that same crime attached to a young brown or black man, he's going to get 8 to 10 years for it. We need to change the mandatory minimums. We need to change and fight and change our criminal justice system. This country is and how it's not evolved. We've backtracked. I want to say we have been kicking this country back at least 60 years with one election. Black Lives Matter. Yes, it is to the millennial civil rights movement. And don't let anyone tell you that black lives don't matter. Don't let somebody say, well, that's going to be part of our homework. Because I notice when some people, not many, and they're never usually brown or black people, well, why don't all lives matter? Well, that's apparent that all lives should matter. But certain people that have been privileged with their Caucasian behind color don't understand when we say Black Lives Matter. I had an awakening 3 years ago, 2015, when we held our Black Lives Matter rally, and I was like, well, all lives matter. Duh. Yeah, all lives matter. But we're not shooting down everybody. They're shooting down our black and brown men, kids, and children. So we have to keep telling these people that are supposed to be protecting us, that we matter. Because it doesn't feel like it. Just get active. Inform yourself. Don't just say you're woke. Live woke, work woke, stay woke. Everything, all day woke. Because I have never seen this like this before in my life. And I am not exaggerating. I just turned 46 on the 19th, and I promise you, I said I was bused to segregate a school. And I remember those days, and I remember the names that I was called. But I have never felt this way in my life before. So I am going to answer this question myself again. I want you to think about this as well. Why do Black Lives Matter? Not just all lives. We know that all lives matter. But why do we keep having to tell people that Black Lives Matter? That is your homework. I will give you my answer next week when we wrap up the work week, because today is Friday and this is your Friday news dump. Donald Trump was able to be prank called, and he called back for the prank by a comedian by the name of Melendez. He was able to prank call him with no problem. Jared Kushner even got on the phone to vet him and asked him the issues he needed to speak about. Trump called him back, and he still was pranked. I've never heard of this before in my life. This is the man that's running our country. People, please think about that. Compared to what people say when they say all lives matter, we know that. But whoever it is that's watching this video right now, I need you to tell me why Black Lives Matter. I don't care what it is you have to say. I have thick skin, and I'll reply to any comment that's left on this video. Believe me, I will. And I won't be rude. I know how to talk to people without being abusive and vulgar. And I know how to fight back without being physical. So until my next time, people, please remember that we deserve better. And I'm going to put my links to all of the things that I cited, the Independent, excuse me, CNN about the prank call, American Urban Radio Networks about Antoine Rose Jr., and NPR.org with the conflicting stories that the officer gave. You'll be able to go ahead and pull up all of those articles. Also, I know this has been deep, but I'm going to end it on a really light note. I'm going to also link my natural curly hair channel to this video, just so we can try to uplift, I know it's a dark place. It's a very dark place, and that's exactly why I am on here. We're going to get deep in this. I'm going to also be interviewing Black and brown people, and just so we can get a feel, it's not just me. I'm just going to let you know that whoever is watching this video, black, brown, white, whatever color, this is going to inform you, and I can't wait to interact with you guys. So please don't worry about if I'm going to be offended. Ask me a question. I can, just to let you know, I am Black, Native, and white. So that's why I asked the question, why all lives matter. I know why. That's a given. But I can also tell you why Black Lives Matter. So I have a little bit of education on my answers just from living and being honest. And I work on honesty. That's something that we're lacking these days. So please comment. Tell me why Black Lives Matter and why we have to keep telling people that Black Lives Matter. Also leave comments in there about if you need help, and if I can start linking organizations about getting you registered to vote, or taking you to get registered to vote, or sending you to where you need to get registered to vote. Ask me those questions. I'll link it on this video. But until then, like I said, guys, we deserve better. All right, I'm your political brown chick, aka Curl Girl Cat. I'll see you next week.